Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with my sidekick, Andrew Guitros.
Good morning.
On Thursday night, December the 27th, at about 9:12 p.m., I wrote myself a note. I finished a book entitled Grand Coteau by John Slaughter. And this book was given to me by Jim and Babs Lopez as a Christmas gift. And I'm not that good at finishing books, but in 2 sessions, I finished it. And one of the main reasons, it's one side of the book, on one page, is pictures of historic places in Grand Coteau, in the area of Grand Coteau. And on the other side of a whole big sheet might be no more than 10 sentences about describing what the picture is about, the history of the picture. And a very, very interesting book. And
John's lived in Grand Coteau for years and years, so he's had time to accumulate beautiful photos.
You're taking my lines now.
Go ahead then.
You want to say it?
I was reading it off your teleprompter.
Well, now you're not supposed to tell them
I'm using
the wrong
name on the teleprompter. It had my name. I'm sorry.
I'm joking. But and John did, and that's part of the story, is that he has kept all of those pictures and he sifted through them. So a lot of them are what it was at one time. Today, it's the same location, but a lot of the buildings in that little community have been modernized. And at the present time, there's about a $12 to $15 million renovation of the large college there, where the seminarians study their first, I guess, 2 or 3 years. And
they come back during their education. They'll come back for the summer or come back for a little while to do retreats and that type of thing.
That's correct.
Not only to receive retreats, but to help give retreats.
And it really needed to be updated. I mean,
it's 100 years old.
Yeah, it was badly needed. And apparently our bishop, along with the Jesuits, it's a Jesuit.
Primarily them themselves, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We gave to that fund. That's a different fund.
Right.
But, and the Jesuits, of course, are in charge of the retreat house that we attend,
Our Lady of the Oaks
Retreat House.
I want to remind everybody that our retreat's coming up in February 28th through, I guess it's March the 3rd. It's a Thursday night through Sunday, the silent retreat over at Our Lady of the Oaks in Grand Coteau. If you want to come, give me a call, 351-0732. You'll enjoy it. You'll like it. Call me for info.
We really need probably 6 to 8 attendees this year.
I think so.
We need some
fresh young people.
But they don't have to be young. They can be any age.
Sure.
But we always say the young, but anyone that'd be interested. And we've had a Jewish friend of ours, I'll name him, Leslie Schiff, has attended for many, many years now. So it's open. And
we've got everything there from first-year attendees. Last year, I think we had 5 first-year attendees. You have attended 44 years.
Yep.
Mr. Dalton Como, I think, might be maybe 54 that he's attended. So, you know, we've got the full range of, I've gone for a little over a decade, 14 years, I guess. If you've gone 44, it's 14 for me. So we've got every range of people, and from young guys fresh out of school. If you're 18 or above, you can come.
Sure. David Link attended
his first this year,
and I'm sure he's going back. I haven't asked him, but I just feel he had. I know he.
I think he had a good time.
Had a good retreat.
Good food, good spirituality.
And that's the August group, which is headed up by Jim Lopez,
our friend over here in town.
Our friend here in town, my attorney, and the person that the conversation started because of Jim and Babs giving me this book, and I might add that if you buy it through the retreat house, we get a little stipend, if you buy the book, you get a little bit of the retreat house gets a little bit of the money. He'll donate a certain percentage of it, and the book is beautiful. I mean, whatever you might want to expect out of the book, it's in the book.
Steamboat Warehouse, get mom away from the smell of her own cooking in beautiful historical Washington, Louisiana. And boy, I saw our good friend Herman Fuselier with the Avatars wrote a nice little write-up on the Steamboat's gangplank. That's that nice steak sitting on top with that etouffee sauce on top of rice.
You just spoke of that recently.
Man, I always would eat the crawfish palmetto where you get the catfish and you get the crawfish on top of the rice and all that. It's so excellent. But the other day I had gone, I said, I'm kind of like a steak. And I got that gangplank, man, and sitting with a big piece of bread with it too.
I got to eating the salmon over there.
Pretty good stuff.
And it is, and it's a food that I had not eaten until recently. And one night I was talking with the chef when he's available, not too rushed. I'll ask that I visit with him a minute, and I just, what do you recommend? And he told me it was fresh salmon. I said, well,
very healthy for you.
Very good food.
Oh, yeah.
And I just did, but I said, yeah, I'll take it. And now I eat it every time I go, and I need to try that.
That's one of my wife's favorite is salmon.
You know, and I was talking about Jim and Babs, and of course, their neighbor, Miss, I'll get it out, Martha Genovese, Judge Jimmy Genovese's wife, is shown on the front page of the Daily World taking her flu shot. And the flu shot is really being pushed this year more than I guess I can recall in recent years anyhow. And there's a lot of people with the flu, and you might hear stories about, well, it's not the same flu that you preventing with the shot. Well, they're still saying take the flu shot.
There are quite a few strains out there every year. It's not just one strain of flu that's out there.
Tina Stefanski, she's with the State Department of Health and Hospitals, Region 4, which is all of this Acadiana area. She's been on television quite often in recent days, recent news breaks. And so they definitely encouraging us. And Martha, thanks for allowing yourself to be shown taking a shot. And she wasn't grimaceing.
There you go, grimace.
Grimace. That's in French.
How about Opelousas Little Theater is going to have their Showcase 2013. Singing, dancing, acting, a variety show, even belly dancing going on. Skits, if you want to go by, they're going to do the nights of January 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the following weekend, 24th, 25th, and 26th at 7 p.m. over at the Little Theater by Donald Gardner Stadium. Then they do 2 Sunday matinees at 2 p.m. on January 20th and 27th. Call Sebastian Dupree Fine Jewelry, 948-436-7 for tickets.
Okay, let's show a couple of pictures, maybe.
I can do that. How about this
and
picture?
The first picture is our good friend Mark, our technical director of the Bobby Dupree Show, shown here with his father.
Mr. Joe Rare.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
You got it.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was a college professor for a good portion of his life, and he did hold a PhD.
Taught math and sciences, and at the end of his career was in computers and everything. We heard a little bit of that as well.
Yep,
so.
Real fine. And he is visiting Mark here in Opelousas. He's home today, but this was taken right after last week's show.
And we learned where Mark got his stable calmness from, because his dad just as calm and nice and
I'm
easy.
telling you, what you see right there is 2 gentlemen.
Yep.
And this was taken over at the Crawfish Hut, Barry Reeves Crawfish Restaurant Grill. And these 2 people are, I'll get it, David and Mary Bushnell. They were sitting there, and she kind of looked at me a few times, and I think she was going back and talking to her husband. So I went over and I introduced myself after having lunch, and found out that I knew a good many of, we had a lot of stories in common. David is a truck driver, and you know who he drives for?
Who's that?
He drives for Walmart. First local driver that I've met. They live in Eunice, by the way, David and Mary. But Mary says, I've got a little story to tell you. She says, you met my brother many, many years ago. And I said, who is that? She says, Mike Miller. I said, Lawtell, Louisiana. She said, you're right. That's where we're from. And Mike, of course, has been with Dupre Transport, Dupre Logistics now for close to 30 years. And David, of course, says, I worked about 4 years with Dupre and then went with somebody else. And then for the last years and years, 13 I think it is, he's been with Walmart. So had a great conversation. And David is very familiar with the new location, new terminal and office that Dupre built over in Channelview, Texas, right before you get to Houston. It's a $12–15 million project that they've just completed and just had the grand opening.
Getting all set for some of that fracking type stuff.
Oh, they already set up a little town down in that south part of Texas near the Mexican border. There's no towns nearby, no motels or anything, so they had to make a offshore type situation.
Company town.
Company town.
That's used to call that in the logging days.
That's company town. That is correct.
Like
and then while I was there, I also visited with Martin Cosgrove Jr. And he's having some, health issues, but he's all upbeat. He wants them to replace a knee that's giving him problems. And so Martin, we go way, way back. Don't have enough time to tell all our stories, but he had his daughter and also had a grandson there, and they were taking care of Papa. Oh, yeah. So that's wonderful, and just a good visit that I had with friends.
There's a sunset with you on the highway somewhere.
Yep.
And then we got 3 ladies at the Palace Cafe.
Palace Cafe. That, what? Last week I had 3 other ladies, friends, visiting there. They end up. Portion of their visit is at the Palace, where they've been going to since they were young ladies. And of course, Tina is who owns and runs the Palace Cafe, is always glad to see all of our friendly faces and all the new faces. And we're cleaning up a downtown building, and I had a couple of pieces of furniture that I thought possibly Lauren Carrier with the Hope for Opelousas might need. Well, that turned out he didn't need it, but we ran across a hat, and that's his daughter and 2 little daughters. That's his wife.
I'm sorry. In the background, right?
That's right.
2 little daughters
and 2 young daughters, and we cutting up, and then you're going to show. I'm going to show.
Look at
there
you
you go.
There.
I'm wanting
you look
to
good
get,
with that hat.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm trying to get my girls out of jail. I'm not going to say any more about that. I said, look, I'm pleading with them. Come get them. I don't have all the money right now, but I promise you.
That's what I used to work at the bail bonds business.
Yeah, that was my first business. I became a bail bondsman my senior year in college. Most people are not aware of that, but stayed in that 10, 12, 15 years.
That's a good way to learn that you didn't want to get on the other side of the law. You got to see up close.
And while I had that hat on, I called a bail bondsman over to see if she'd help me. And it turned out to be Marla Jeffers. And I said, you part of the Opelousas Jeffers? She said, I sure am. And of course she works for Zerang Bail Bonds, and Zerang has at least 3 offices right in that one area. So he's got that business kind of cornered in St. Landry and a lot of other areas. Larry Zerang is known now throughout the state of Louisiana as a bail bondsman.
And you and I used to go join him at the Archway from time to time.
We had good times. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, and family. And this is a picture that I took over at the sale Sunday. I had mentioned that I was going to be attending the Stemmons Winter Mix Sale, and that was held over at the one of the barns that are part of Blackham Coliseum facility there, parking area. And these are young Girl Scouts that had gotten up early in the morning, and they were selling coffee and cookies and everything. And I gave them $100 check, and that's
what a deal. They're happy, huh?
They're happy. That's what they're holding. That little girl in the front, that's a check for $100.
We're going to take a 1-minute break. We're going to show more from the horse sale and more stuff for Acadiana after 1 minute.